Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. I like this new backdrop. Before it was kind of just random and stupid, and now it makes sense, which is how I like things to be. I mean, there are certain scenarios when random stupid things make more sense than things that would usually make sense. Does that make sense? Today is going to be all about gimbals. This is a gimbal, or at least a carrying case for a gimbal. Now, I've used a gimbal in pretty much every recent video on the channel, and I haven't really ever discussed what it actually is or what it does. I used it in the last video to attach it. I attached it to a Nerf gun, and I spent a lot of time attaching it to a Nerf gun, and some of you guys might be wondering why on earth I even wasted my time doing that. I have with me today it's called the Hohem iSteady Pro 2 gimbal. See, it says iSteady on the back and then Pro 2 on that side. And what this basically does is you put a camera inside of this little cartridge holder. It's not really a case. You slide a camera in there, and then you can adjust these two screws to fit whatever size action camera you want. Action cameras are like GoPros, this type of stuff. Just really small cameras that typically have places to mount and stuff like that. In this case, we're going to be mounting this Akaso camera onto a gimbal. The camera that I'm using right now is also an action camera. It's much better than this, and it's still not top notch, but that's because it's an action camera and I'm using it like a DSLR. But this gimbal is meant to fit every single type of action camera out there, or at least 99% of them. There are some really weird ones that won't fit. Once I get this camera in here, I'm going to show you guys more of what this is actually capable of and what scenarios you use it in and stuff like that. Alright, here we go. It's powering on. So this is meant to smooth out all of the movements that I do with the camera. See, like if I jerk it back and forth really fast, it's not going to spin around. That's because there's a little bit of lag between this motor and the handle. These are all motors, by the way. There's 3 of them to fit every axis. It won't really move. Even if I do a bunch of crazy stuff, it'll stay pretty focused on the target. And the goal of this is to make sure that your video is super stable. You can even, there's multiple different settings on here. This one is to lock all, so it won't move. It'll stay pointing in the same direction no matter what I do with the handle. I mean, this is pretty incredible technology. Stuff like this just isn't possible with any other kind of thing, really. The purpose of this is so if you're walking around and you don't want your video to look like garbage because it's shaking all over the place, this will smooth out pretty much everything. And you can stand still and do some pans. You can put it on all lock and do some like sweeping stuff where the camera will stay pointing forwards, but all you have to do is angle your hand and it just kind of slides back and forth. It comes with a tripod like this. It has a thing on the bottom for you to mount it to things, and also a screw on the side for you to screw in your phone. So if you have like a phone holder, you can screw that into here, connect your phone to the camera through Wi-Fi if it's Wi-Fi capable, or connect it to the gimbal, but it's more useful connected to the camera. If you connect it to the camera, then you can actually see through your phone screen what your camera is seeing in real time. So you get a much bigger screen, and it's all being held right here. On the back of the gimbal, there are multiple different buttons. This little slider thing is to adjust the roll of the camera. It rolls it back and forth. Doesn't roll too far. There's no reason for you to ever really use that, but I like that they included it just in case you ever needed it. Then there's also a joystick that spins around the camera. It angles it up and down, and that's pretty much it, actually. This button is it's for turning on the gimbal, and if you connect your gimbal to your phone to your camera, you can connect your gimbal to your camera through Bluetooth. I'm not exactly sure how to do that yet, but if you figure out how to do that, you can press this button and it'll actually record. So everything that you need is on this little pad right here if you have it connected through Bluetooth. I would rather screw in my phone and connect that to my camera and use everything on my phone to control the camera and everything over here to control the gimbal. And then that kind of does everything at once. What this is able to do is if you screw in the tripod, this gimbal comes with its own mobile app. Boom. They make a ton of different types of gimbals. So this is a mobile gimbal, so you can actually use your phone with a gimbal. This is for slightly bigger cameras. This is the one for action cameras, the one that I have. Oh, that's actually the iStudy Pro 3. They made a third one. It's probably just a little bit better than this one. I don't know the exact upgrades yet, but I'm guessing better battery life, not better software, because it's the exact same app. It's actually in the exact same section of the app, so not even a slight upgrade. Anyways, then they have this, which is like a smaller version of this. That's basically just the motors that you can mount onto anything, like a skateboard or a helmet. So if you wanted to attach it to pretty much everything you could attach an action camera to, you can do that, except it's going to be on a gimbal, which means you can basically use it in any circumstance. And if you want to attach it to a small little tripod, you could effectively have a handle just like this, although you would be missing all the controls here. This is my phone screen, which basically looks a lot like this joystick. What I can do is actually control the gimbal with my phone. So here's the really cool thing. If you want to get stable footage, you know how sometimes you see time lapses where the camera's kind of moving with them, but they're going super fast, and you wonder how that's possible, because if they're moving super fast, then how is the camera moving so slow? It's probably with one of these. And this is actually capable of doing that. So what you do is you go to waypoints, add waypoints. You move the gimbal to where you want it to be at the start, you add that waypoint, and then you move it to where you want it to be at the end, add that. You can even add 3 if you want. And then you go to next, then you pick how long you want it to take. It can take up to 6 hours. That's how it moves so slowly. But let's make it take 30 seconds. So it's going to go to the starting position, and then in 30 seconds, it's going to scroll over and go up at the same time. Oh, enough of me jibber jabber talky. I'm going to take this out for a spin, and I'm going to do one walk around where I'm using the gimbal and one where I'm not, and I'm going to see if you guys can guess which one's which, because it's pretty obvious. This is me walking around without the gimbal, but with electronic stabilization on. So what that does is basically kind of smooths out all the jerkiness that my hand is doing, but it's still not as good as a gimbal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to do 3 tests now, since I realized that this is a thing. I'm going to walk around out there without any kind of stabilization, then I'm just going to use the electronic image stabilization, and then I'm going to use the gimbal with electronic image stabilization to show you guys how smooth this can possibly get. Hey guys, sorry I keep forgetting to do these stupid outros, but I know this isn't great quality, but at least it's something. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing. It really helps me out. I'll see you guys in the next one.